What is going on, everybody, and welcome to the best show in all of pro wrestling and sports entertainment. This is your host, SERG VICENTE, and I'm joined today by none other than, hold on. See, we try to do new things in this. There we go. Hold on for 1 second. You hear me okay?
I can hear you great.
We're live, so okay, perfect. So we live.
We live. We're hearing you good.
All good. Perfect. So hope you guys are doing fantastic. We're joining me on the show today. This is episode 10. We've done 10 of these already, which is fantastic. So I cannot wait. We're going to go ahead and jump into so much. So on today's menu, before I go ahead and introduce my fantastic co-host of the evening. In fact, let's go ahead and jump into it. Co-host, how are you doing today?
What up? How you doing? My packages came in today. I'm feeling good. Fight Podcast merch. You see it. You see what's happening.
I love that. I appreciate letting people know what it is and where to find it.
You got to get that. That's the Etsy. We got the Etsy. The link is in the bios and all that. Go get your stuff. Okay.
Love it. I love it. Let them know. I appreciate you. So let's go ahead and do this. So we're going to talk about a bunch of different things, but one of the main things that we have to go ahead and jump into is none other than Randy Orton, the legend killer himself. And he's going out there and celebrating not 1, not 2, but 20 years. And it has been so fantastic to see him have all the fun in the world. But let's just go ahead and just kind of get into it. Dre, in terms of RO, what is your favorite RO memory?
Man, Randall Keith, Orton, RKO, man. I think that he's just had a really interesting career just as a whole. I mean, I think to watch, it's really rare to be able to watch a wrestler consistently for 20 years in the game, on our televisions, consistently for 20 years. Like, that is a very rare thing. And especially in the age in which he started versus what he is now, and how the many times he's reinvented himself in very slight ways, but in ways that still like work for that time. I mean, it's really hard to kind of pinpoint one or two big things. One of the matches that kind of comes to my head is one of his like really big breakout matches, probably one of his first great matches, which is the one with Mick Foley. I think that was probably his like first great match. You know what I mean? And kind of let us know like, oh, okay, that this is what we got. Like, this is who he is. Obviously, the legend killer gimmick part, was the jam, and that was part of that gimmick, that match. I think that was probably one of his best times. But I really honestly, like, without being hyperbolic, without having recency bias, RK Bro Randy is really dope to watch, and especially at a time when we thought kind of Randy was a little bit, maybe phoning it in a little bit. RK Bro came in, we were kind of like, all right, the whole Fiend thing stuff happened, and that didn't kind of go the way it could have went because of the pandemic and all that jamming. But like, we get this version of Randy that, we find out that was only supposed to last like a week with Riddle, and it's lasted like a year and a half or whatever it is now. And it's like still going, and it's so fun to watch. And the best part of being a wrestling fan at this point right now is watching wrestlers be in the game long enough to like just really get their flowers. Absolutely. While they're still wrestling. And like, I think it's really cool that WWE and Raw did what they did yesterday with, the 20-year anniversary of Randy, and letting everybody letting him kind of give his thank yous to the fans, and then, working with some of his favorite people, which is clearly obvious. Like, they have a ball together. And just having and just watching that man, gather all of the love in the midst of like a really cool storyline at the same time.
Yo, Raw was so dope in the sense that it was so funny yesterday watching people break character. Veer is supposed to be this killer. Veer is supposed to be, he was gone forever and now he's here and he's supposed to be this absolute destroyer. He had the biggest smile on his face when Randy walked past him. I'm like, fam, I know that wasn't what you were supposed to do. But it was cool. It was cool to see. And again, he has given us a lot of memories. I mean, if we think about it, we'll talk about it a little later on the show. I mean, the his finisher might be the greatest finisher of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think
his rivalry with John Cena is like kind of made both of them, too.
Absolutely.
That was it was a never-ending feud for a long time. But it did make them, and it was like, hey, they were two of the biggest stars at that moment. Why not have them main event 7,000 times? And they did.
How much? And again, I'm not trying to like think about it, and I want us to enjoy a good thing. But at the same time, I mean, now it's so funny you think about it. Randy Orton is younger than AJ Styles. Like, just put that into perspective. He's younger than AJ Styles. So as long as his body holds up, I mean, what we looking? We got another 10 years of our of RKO. What
Randy gonna wrestle till he's done. You know what I mean? And I think that is the cool thing that we get to see right now. I would think like maybe the only other wrestler that has wrestled this long with minimal injuries. I mean, Randy's got like some shoulder stuff and he's had injuries here and there, but like Kane wrestled for a really long time with minimal breaks and minimal injuries. And I think Randy was like one of the only ones that kind of can equate to that.
Yeah, I was going to say, how many has out of the big, essentially 4 events, like did he go through a calendar year with missing all of them?
Right. Like he's never not been on at least one of them, or more. Yeah. It's just, man's is like, regardless of like your taste or what you feel like, your whatever it is, like if it's not really your jam,
it might not be your cup of tea.
Right. But you got to do what that man does. Randy's the Tom Brady of WWE right now. Yes. And it's like, he can go on as long as he can because he's now relevant even more than he was 2 years ago. Like every time you think his relevance is dying down, something else happens, and WWE knows that they can always place him in a spot to either elevate another star or to elevate a program, or he's just one of those really dope, like right now he's playing a really dope utility role.
Oh, absolutely.
That has kind of morphed into a top billing role, because you know how WWE feels about tag teams. So it's like,
hey, this has made really tag teams so relevant in WWE. It's like, at least the guys at the top, it's fun. And watching who they're, again, what's the name of the game? It's fun. We're happy that they're absolutely having fun. And even we're getting like in Raw, which we'll talk about, has been absolutely fantastic for the last couple of weeks.
I feel like we need to whisper it because I'm scared.
Like, don't tell anybody, but
Raw was kind of decent.
Killing it right now. Okay. Every week I'm sitting here glued to the fucking TV, like, yo, what's gonna happen?
Like, this show is 3 hours and I'm still here, like housewife.
It's still here. Look, there's always a point in time where I go make dinner. Okay, I'm like, this ain't for me. I'm about to go get some grub. That always happens, but I mean, and it's always sometime around the 24/7 title or when Veer comes. I don't know, one of the two.
That's terrible. That's so terrible.
It is. But that last match of the 24/7, it wasn't it. It definitely wasn't it. But jumping back to, I mean, he's been in there with everybody. He's been able to do it with, honestly, he can do all the moves, but the way that he's been able to preserve his body and keep it to those snappy 3 or 4 that we really like,
man,
gotta appreciate him.
It's one of the smartest workers we could probably say
Absolutely.
ever. Like, let's just be like, he's one of the smartest workers ever. And there's so many stories of him telling other wrestlers and trying to show other wrestlers how to preserve their bodies in a way that they can kind of last longer. And it's like, you give or take a little flashiness there, here and there, but like the man's been in the game for 20 years, and it's because he is smart in the ring.
Yes.
And he's like, he knows ring psychology really well, and that man knows his character front, back, left, right, up, and down.
He's had the same gear for 19 years.
And the point that it could be put into so many different, like I said, he's one of those players where you can throw him into a feud with someone to elevate that person, or throw
Absolutely.
him into a storyline to elevate the entire storyline, or both.
Yes.
And it's just like,
He's great.
you just got to give him a round of you got to give him everything, give him all the flowers you can give him.
Oh man,
It's all
it was
respect.
great. It was so much fun to see. It's cool to see social media going crazy. It's
Yeah,
cool to see legends going on social media and showing him love. You know, it was
yeah, for
even
sure.
cool seeing the Usos kind of throw a little shade while still like respecting, you know, who he was. Like the
In
way they
character.
played all of it, it was fantastic. I loved every second of it. But one thing that came to pass that a couple eyebrows jumped up, you know, and it wasn't because of Seth Rollins' fantastic green suit. It was
I
not
mean,
because of that suit.
man's flips from Joker to Riddler every week, and I love everything about it. Just
Every
we
second
love
of it.
Seth Rollins stand account. We love Seth Rollins here at the Royal Rundown. Like,
Yo,
we love that man.
he can do no wrong to me.
None.
You
Zero.
give him anything, and he gives you just gold every single time. I love everything that he does, but you have, you know, all of a sudden out of nowhere, you know, the American Nightmare comes out. You had Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes pops up. They embrace, and then all of a sudden, it makes me ask this question. Are we getting ready for a legacy reunion? I have to ask you. Is that what we saw?
I think they teased it, which I love. I don't know when we're gonna get it. I feel like that's just it's smart money, right? You gotta do
Right.
it some kind of way. I mean, I don't know what Ted DiBiase Jr. is doing right now, but if you want to come on and hit the gyms and come on back for a half second, you know, that'd be really fly. But I do love that they teased it. And if you really paid attention, you noticed that when Randy hugged Cody, Riddle had a little bit of a face on him, like a little little
He pushed
salt.
them apart. He pushed them apart. Well, it's
A
funny you
little
say
salt.
that. It's funny you say that, and again, I saw it. I think we all saw it, and I see you sipping tea or whatever you're sipping in that fantastic mug that I
This one
see
right
that you're
here.
rocking. Yes,
Wham.
yes.
Wham.
That same mug
You
that I
love
believe
that.
that you can go out there and find at Etsy shop, you know,
You see it right there on
/spiceshop.com.
the
It's down
ticker.
there. Let it know.
Wow.
Go ahead and grab something. But yo, are we seeing the potential? Are we seeing the end of RK Bro? And I know it's been a year. This was something that was only supposed to go ahead and last a week or so, or a couple weeks. This has evolved into a friendship, a legitimate friendship. It's evolved into the most fun that Randy's had in his entire 20-year career. Is it coming to an end?
So yes, but I feel like it's gonna be I'm hoping. Let me stop acting like I feel like. I am hoping this is a slow burn. Legacy 2.0 is a great shout. That would be really dope to do before we do the full-on breakup of RK Bro. That would be a nice little situation to keep Cody busy until we put him in the real joint as well, even though Cody's gonna be busy with Seth. So like, you know, I think that gets a little muddy right now. There's time, you know, time and place and all that stuff. So we'll see. But I think that they planted the legacy seed for us to all be like, for them to be like, hey, we know. We know. That's I'm going to say this. It's a very AEW like thing to do. Like, hey, we know. Just so you know, we know. Don't worry. Like, we know.
But it's funny you say that because I don't know who's had the controls. I don't know if Vince fell down, bumped his head, and doesn't remember who he is, and is giving us all of a sudden he is like, yo, you get a storyline. You get a storyline. You get a storyline.
You can have it.
yeah. And he is sitting here, and again, I get so much fan service. And again, even up to, and honestly, and again, we can move on from Riddle turning heel. And I would love it. I personally would love to see Riddle being the one that turns heel. Just teasing.
I think that's the smart money.
Yeah,
That's the
absolutely.
smart money.
Absolutely.
It's like we've seen Randy Orton be heel a jillion, trillion, zillion
Yeah.
times in the 20 years, right? And this
And we've seen him
fun
backstab people.
super baby face Randy heel that we're having, that's an organic fan
Yep.
appreciation situation, right?
Facts.
So I think
Absolutely.
having most people expect Randy to do the turning. Riddle doing the turning, I think, is just bigger money.
I agree. I also agree with this
I
down here. I
Carrie,
agree
I
with
don't
this.
know yet. I don't
I
know.
think they do.
I agree with this. I think that yes, that would be dope to have Riddle in the top title picture. I don't know if they believe it yet. I feel like he's such a silly character that I feel like Vince isn't like into silly big champions right now. You know what I mean? I think that if he turns heel for real, then maybe we got something. Then we have maybe that's the version that they want to see if he can do it first. I feel like they're putting
Right.
Riddle through a lot of stuff since he came up from NXT to show that he
Hmm.
can handle the top storylines with top talent, et cetera, because he had such a not a rocky start backstage per se, but a little bit of heat back there, right? And so I feel like they just kind of given him all these different types of things since he's been on the main roster for the last 2-3 years or whatever it's been at this point. And I mean, I think that they're really I think they want to see, can he be heel? Can he be a believable heel? Putting him with Randy is a great way to do it. You know, Riddle champion next year. I'd be cool with that.
No, absolutely. I mean, I think next year I'm into some other champions. Don't get it too. Actually, no. You can give me Roman forever, but
I
I'm
was like,
into
why are
other
you
people to go ahead
lying?
and
You
win.
know you're
I was
bloodline
lying.
till you die.
But I'm saying this. If somebody else was to get a championship, Riddle, I'm not mad at. I'm definitely not mad at my man's Montez Ford. That's what I would like to see
I love Tez.
become a
He's not getting
champion.
that. He's not
No,
gonna
no
be
time
he's not
soon.
gonna be the top champion for several years. Now he might get his
I know.
hands on one of those mid-card titles in the next 2-3, but it ain't happening this year, and next year, who knows? Because you
Who
know, the world
knows?
of wrestling, we all know that
Hey man,
everything can
DJ might come
happen.
back next year for all I know. I mean,
Eh,
WrestleMania is here in Hollywood. I'm just saying.
He
I'm
is.
just saying.
I'm putting my money on that.
They
We're
got little
getting
brown kids on TV telling people to acknowledge them.
we're getting we're getting Rock Roman next year. We're gonna just
Come
keep talking. We're gonna
on.
talk about we're gonna speak that into existence every
We have
every
to.
episode.
It
I
has
think
to happen.
we have mentioned it in every episode because we want it.
Oh, come on. Who
We want
doesn't
it.
want it? If you don't want it, you just don't want to have fun. But speaking of fun, when Randy Orton was sitting there yesterday getting all the love and adoration, you had, superstars down low, clapping it up, breaking character.
Right.
They ended up having as many people in the ring as absolutely possible. And even brought out the newest fan favorite, the person who I think I might be the most surprised that the WWE is pushing right now, Zeke. Zeke is speaking, and people are really liking it. But this is one thing that I think is funny, and I really and I had to ask you about it. So I thought the biggest problem with Elias was people said that he looked like Randy Orton. Is it just me, or did Zeke really look like Ultimate Warrior yesterday? He comes out there with the little tassels, the white boots. All he needs is face paint, and he's the Ultimate Warrior. Like, is that just
It's
Vince being Vince, or like what's going on?
I think they are trolling the mess out of us with this whole Ezekiel thing. And we have to thank the one and only Kevin Owens for getting this over the way it is, because now it's funny. And like now we're all in on the joke. And I have to give WWE their props because this is something they don't do very often, but when they do it so well. When they lean into because they were dead. Let's be clear. We have watched WWE long enough. They were dead serious on rebranding Elias as Ezekiel. We were all going to just pretend that it never happened. That
For
was
sure.
their goal. And of course, wrestling fans do what wrestling fans do. And they kind of hijacked Ezekiel's debut. And for the fact that I'll give Zeke his props here. He was like, no, I really believe that was off the cuff. I'm Elias's younger brother, Ezekiel. And
Yeah.
then the fact that WWE went, you know what, let's rock with that. Let's lean into the foolishness is something they do not do often. But the fact that they
Again,
do
Vince
it
must have fell
is
down and bumped
so
his head.
fly.
Things are going
It's
too
so
well right
dope.
now.
It's so
Things are
dope. It's
going
like,
too well.
I'm trying to think of the last thing oh God, when Albert came back as Lord Tensai. Like, if they had did this for that, he would have wrestled longer. But Lord Tensai, you know what I mean? Like, but instead they were dead serious on trying to tell us Albert was Lord Tensai, and we're like, sir, we know
Well,
who
this
that
is
is.
great.
Stop.
I love the way that they've done this. Like I said, and you guys are right. Like I said, he's not Elias, okay? I don't know what you guys are on. It's obviously his younger brother Zeke. It's obviously his younger brother Zeke. I come on.
Misspoke, and that's my bad.
Absolutely.
How dare I?
I mean, I wrote the note, and it's definitely on me. I apologize. I apologize. I even put it up there.
It's in your notes, ain't it, Serge? I know it's in your notes.
It's absolutely in my notes. You know it's there. All right, well let's talk about this, because there was a lot of fun that happened yesterday. I thought we moving right along with everything today. I guess it was just quick hitters today and this week.
We're just vibing, yes,
just vibing. What was lost is now found. Out of nowhere. Granted, in Raw, we actually saw a couple people, and I'm not even gonna bring up other people. We saw the return. The Empress herself, Asuka, came back, but not only Asuka, so did Ali. Ali is absolutely in purgatory somewhere. He came back, but Asuka is back also. And honestly, that entire episode of Raw, I don't know. I know me personally, I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't on my nerding out, going on all the internet, the vlogs and blogs to figure out who's going to do what. So when I saw her come out, it made me really sit back and say, is this my favorite female wrestler? Like, holy shit. She comes out there. Like, I see her come out there, she does her thing. She gets her Seth Rollins on. She's bouncing around.
She was doing that before Seth was doing it. Okay, let's be clear.
So I went back, and because I was like, you know what? I know who she is, but I didn't appreciate it. I spent the next day and a half watching it tape on tape, video after video. Holy shit, this might be my favorite wrestler. She's incredible. What a great person to bring her back for. We already know Becky Lynch can't do it by herself. So bring her there again with somebody who's going to carry her and make her look fantastic. I love this for both parties.
These are the returns that they should have gave us on the Raw after Mania.
This was the show. A month of it now.
This was the show they should have gave us Raw after Mania.
Absolutely.
Like
1000%.
I just wanted to throw that out there because I'm like, this would have been a great show at Raw after Mania, but none of my business. I'm just saying. Asuka is a wonderful shout. Like, Asuka is a needed space, a needed person in the women's division. Never had a bad match in her life. She's so raw. Katie, let Serge be great. Okay, he just discovered her. Okay. Let Serge be great.
Things? Can I have new things?
He found a new toy. Serge found a new toy, okay? And he is geeked. Let him be geeked. Let him enjoy it. Also, I have to give it up for Bolingbrook, Illinois' very own Mustafa Ali.
Yes, our guy.
Look,
well, I'm not from Bolingbrook.
He's from
Illinois.
He's from over here, West Burbs. That's over here in my hood. Okay, so I got to give Mustafa, some love. And honestly, what another he's such a underrated talent that they have, an underutilized talent that they have.
Absolutely.
And his return, I thought that whatever beef that they've had since he asked for his release earlier this year or late last year, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was earlier this year.
whatever the beef is,
Uh-huh.
it seems like they have settled it, because not only did he just return, he had a whole segment with the Miz and with, Vince's Wonder Boy Theory. What's his name, Serge? Okay.
His name is Theory.
Yes. With Vince's boy Theory. Those are two people that are getting camera time, that we see them every single week, right? So to have Mustafa Ali's return, be in a segment with those two people, a match with the Miz, and then a tease for a new situation.
It's awesome. I love
whatever the conversation was. It went well, and I want it to continue to great, because can we talk about the fact that Ali and Ciampa in a future feud is going to steal shows?
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. Yeah, okay. Let's talk about that in a second. But I did want to talk about a couple things about Ali, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it, because so you're thinking everything is good, everything behind the scenes. You're thinking it's chop. It
has to be. It has to be, because to me, if it wasn't, he would have got squashed. If it wasn't, he would have been in that 24/7 madness. If it was,
you know what I'm saying? One with the backwood. Right.
His return wouldn't have been in a major segment with major time, with mic time and a match. Like, come on.
Right.
To me, that's if you're a wrestler and you want to come back, and do the whole shebang. You don't want to just come back and be like, eh.
And they're putting him right in there. Not only with that, they're putting him not only in a title match option very soon, but they're also putting him in there with another, big, feud, which could honestly be one of the more exciting, entertaining feuds if they actually let it cook. So since you already teased it, let's just go ahead and jump into it. Ali versus Ciampa, who it seems like, just out the blue went out there and turned heel on us. I'm okay with it, because you know how I feel. I'm here for the heels. Way more fun. But it was interesting. Oh, real quick, let me ask you this. This wasn't in my notes. Did the WWE miss an opportunity with they could have used the disgruntled employee, angle with Ali. He could have been the new Stone Cold, dare I say, with that type of energy, going up there and just being a straight up disruptor. But they chose to make him look like the good guy and then flipped Ciampa as the bad guy. To me, it seems like that's a missed opportunity. It seems like they fumbled it a little bit there.
Here's what I think. I think that I see what you're saying. Ali's a great heel.
He's an amazing heel.
Unfortunately, we didn't get to see him thrive in the heel character that they gave him with the whole retribution stuff and all that. But he literally was the best part of that, and he did the best he could with what he was given. And I don't want to say it's a missed opportunity. What I will say is that if our options to get Tommaso Ciampa, which we know we've taken away his first name now because that's what they do.
Oh yeah, he's just Ciampa now. He's just Ciampa.
He's just Ciampa now. But if this is how we're gonna get heel Ciampa on television, wrestling is with face Mustafa Ali. Let those men cook. Let those men do what they do, and let's watch them work. Because I feel like, again, you and I, the second we saw that little tease for this feud, we're like, this could steal shows.
Absolutely.
And, I hope it gets time. I hope it gets a story. They can figure out and finagle some cool story. Lord only knows what it is. Two dudes who've been on the indies for a long time. Two dudes who spent some time, Mustafa really didn't spend that much time in NXT, I don't think, at all, except for like the for 205 Live. He was on 205 Live most of the time until he moved up. I just feel like there could be some, create some gosh darn story. Let those two characters do them.
And this actually brings to a very good point. So Ciampa, he is turning heel And I was seeing it. They had Ciampa. Is he, and possibly because Ciampa they didn't even finish panning around to see his 15th ab before they went out there and switched directly to Rhea and her little thing. Are we going to get both of them in that
Listen,
blue faction?
they needed to start the real tease last night, but they didn't. I think it's Joey saying what I was thinking. Joey, I thought the same thing last night. I think they might have been teasing Finn joining them. Him and his
Talking
82
about his,
abs. The other 82 ab
he-
having dude.
You know what? I'd be happy with it because they did talk about in his like stats him being a demon or something like that.
Right, which like
They
for
gonna
me, I
give
wish
me
they
the
never
little sprinkle.
and I hate that because it's like, okay, might as well just kill that part of his gimmick because that was such a dope,
Oh,
amazing part
great.
of his gimmick until he got to the main roster. But
Yeah.
whatever. Um, I could see I wasn't like that wasn't my first choice. We all were thinking about Rhea, you know what I mean? But Finn can make that work. You
Finn
know,
could definitely make that work.
Finn is a
And if it
great
gives him a little
talent.
bit more, because he's been
Me,
getting
yeah,
just beat down recently. He's
yeah.
been getting the terrible end of the stick. And so if we're actually going to give him an opportunity to go out there and actually cook and get a storyline, because let's be very honest, he is far better on the mic than Puerto Rican Rock, okay? Far better on the mic than my man's. Now, granted, Puerto Rican Rock looks great in the ring. He is doing his thing as a performer. But on the mic, still like, nah, he's still out there on his die thing. Like, I can't do it.
Yeah. It's just weird. And like, I think Nick is on the comments talking about Finn was kind of teasing Balor Club on Twitter,
That's
you know,
true.
part of the Bullet Club situation. But all of those people are in AEW right now. So,
Yep.
you know, it's a good piece of information to have would be when's Finn's contract up. um, I thought, even though I'm not for sure, but I thought he recently signed something new at the
I
top
thought
of
he did
last year or
also.
something, or end of,
Yeah.
I don't know. But you
I
know,
feel
that was a
like
missed
Finn's too good to
opportunity.
let go. I really don't. I
He
hope they don't
is.
make.
And
Yeah,
talking
he's
about
so
missed
good.
opportunities, I mean, when we had Gallows and Anderson and AJ Styles and him all in this, they were all in the same company for several
Right.
years, and they could have done it then, but you know, they didn't. So
That's a missed
who
opportunity.
knows?
It's unfortunate, but
Dang. Joel said he's more like Puerto Rican Roman, not Puerto Rican Rock. Talking about your boy Damian Priest.
I mean, hey man, the story is like he's not looking good right now. That's what it is, and I'm hoping these guys
Y'all
get do
are
his thing.
terrible. Y'all are terrible.
Hey, we're just being honest, and I love him. I think he's great, and I think as a performer, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
I think he just has some serious work to do, especially
Mm.
on the mic. But they put him with the right people to do that. This gimmick, I don't know if I'm sold on it quite yet, but I like it. Really quick, thoughts on Asuka and Becky. Are you happy about this? Is this the right one to make?
This is the right one to make. The last time we saw Becky and Asuka together in a ring, Becky was giving Asuka the title because she was pregnant.
Yeah, heck yeah.
And you know, and it was a face Becky, obviously, and a face Asuka, but now we have heel Becky. This is perfect.
I
This is
love it.
exactly what it's supposed to be. This is great. I
Yeah.
hope they let it simmer because
Yeah.
I could take 2 matches from them. I'd be
Okay.
fine with
No,
that.
I would love it. I would love it. And honestly, to watch them both work and stuff, I think it's great for both of them at this time. Keep Becky away from the belt a little bit. Let her go out there and actually, be busy for a little bit. And then, having Asuka go in there and actually put her right back at the top of the card as opposed to going out
Absolutely.
there against some randoms. This is great. I like what they're doing with both of them. Like, again, who knew the WWE made it the right choice? Another great move. I love it. But we're talking about Randy Orton, and in celebration of RO. I wanted to ask you this, and I'm gonna ask everybody who's in the comments right now. I'm gonna ask you guys the exact same thing. What are the best finishing moves in pro wrestling and sports entertainment history? What is it? I want to know. What do you think? I'd love to know.
Yeah, I mean, folks in the comments. We want to know what's your favorite
Please let us
finishing
know.
moves.
What are your guys'
I mean,
favorite finishing
I-
moves of all time?
I'm gonna just give my favorites. They might not be the best per se, but I just want to give my favorites. I'm always good for a sweet chin music super kick situation.
Come on. How
I
can you not
mean,
love it?
I love it,
Especially
especially when
back
it comes out.
then.
Always down for that. Love that. I think right now Bianca Belair has one of the dopest. That KOD is a very
Absolutely.
dope and believable finisher.
Yeah.
You think it hurts. The Bank statements, Miss Sasha Banks, of course. Oh, the Rude Awakening. That's a good one. I'm trying to think of some
Yeah.
other ones, G.
The
Like,
one,
I mean,
what is that
obviously,
one called? The what's the, you guys are gonna see? The what is it? The one leg, the one with the one arm chicken, one arm bird, Kenny Omega's joint. That
the
is a
one-winged
fantastic
angel.
finisher.
The one-winged angel.
Yeah,
You know what?
yeah. The one
So for
arm
me,
chicken is
yeah,
fantastic.
it looks like it hurts. I just feel like sometimes it takes a lot to get into, but I do
Right.
love that it's really protected. So when someone
Yes.
kicks out of it, then you know that person's
Right.
winning.
Right. Yeah, that's a good
And
one.
it'll be like one person every 5 years kicks out of that mug. Like it's just like
Right.
okay, so that's just super
And
protected.
you know what finisher I do not like? Whose finisher I don't like?
Oh God, I'm scared.
I don't like Roman's finisher. I don't like the damn
Y-
spear. I don't
You're
like
not
the
with the spear.
guillotine. No, I want him to do something better. Just saying.
You don't
That
like
that's
this. I
it.
think Roman's look, when we think about top spears, we've got what do we got? We
He
got
has a
Edge's
great
spear,
spear, but I don't want
we
the
got
spears. I
Roman's
feel like a spear
spear,
shouldn't be a finisher.
Bobby Lashley's spear. Did Brock Lesnar have a spear? Am I tripping or did I dream that in
He
my head?
speared some
Wasn't he?
people.
Didn't he spear folk?
He
And you
speared
gonna tell
somebody.
me you don't think Roman spears bank? Roman's got one of the best
I
spears out of
think he
everybody.
has. I think
It's
his spear
believable.
is
He's
it's a good spear. I
okay.
just don't. I want something better. I if we're talking about moves, I damn near like a Samoan drop more than I like a spear.
You just like powerful stuff. You like, yeah, I see what you're saying. I get it.
I want if I want a finisher, I want to believe it. Like for me, I look at it and if a big dude tackles you, it might suck, but you're probably gonna get back up. It to me, that's not a
If
believable
you
finish.
got if you got like, I
He
don't
is
know, if you got breath in your
270
lungs at
pounds,
that point, like,
but I
that's the
mean,
big Samoan man on your chest, G. I don't know how you okay.
I guess. Um,
John Moxley's paradigm shift. That always I like it when when
yeah,
he performs it on the right person. It's really dope. The
yeah,
one with him and that match with him and Wheeler Yuta a couple weeks ago was probably my favorite
fantastic.
Moxley match I've
Oh,
seen
great
in a
match.
long time.
Not like
Just
I
in
watched
general, it was just a
AEW or anything.
you know what? He could stop fronting. He already admitted he does. You did it already. It's all right. Um, I really, that paradigm shift in particular looked particularly devastating.
Yeah, absolutely,
Um,
absolutely.
you know,
Tombstone would absolutely be lethal in real life.
yeah, yeah. You know, the tombstone's hard though because it's hard to make it look believable in a work situation because you don't want to break somebody's neck. Shooting star press and swanton bonner. I mean, I've absolutely every single time.
That's like anybody you get to Flippy doing stuff. I mean, how can you not love it?
5-star
Those are
frog
great
splashes.
finishes. Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely love them.
Because it's like,
Those are
although it
great.
takes some time to get up there to get it done, it just looks like it hurts. Anything that looks like it really hurts is
Yo,
always
for
gonna work.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure. All right. Moving right along because those are all great. I love those. Obviously the RKO. I mean that RKO out of nowhere.
And
When it
we
boils down to it, pop culture wise and everything, that might be the best. Even better than how do we not say it? The stunner.
I was about to say the
Stone
Stone Cold
Cold
Stunner.
Stunner.
Well, essentially, it's just the RKO with a kick.
It's all it is. That's all it is. It's
But
still
that's why it
grabbing
works.
somebody and smashing your face into your shoulder. It's still very
I mean, it
much
still
of that.
works.
What do you think about the rock bottom?
Listen, I love all things Dwayne The Rock Johnson. None of his finishing moves looked particularly devastating. They were
Not at
all
all.
sports entertainment. Okay. I did like the rock. I thought the rock bottom was cool, but it wasn't it wasn't really a finisher, right? Like,
right,
Booker T had the book end, and it was like it was the same move as well. And obviously the the people's elbow was was not meant to look
It,
devastating. That was meant
it
for
really.
crowd. That was meant for the
Oh,
crowd.
that thing is
Um,
so funny. But hey, he sold the
so
hell out of
yeah,
that thing.
everybody
Well,
did. But yeah, The Rock didn't have any particularly devastating looking finishers. Um, but he just was really good at what he did, man. He's just
you know
really
what? You
fun
know
to
what he
watch.
was really great at? He was really good at not just being a good heel. He was the best of heels, but he was the great heel that can still be a face. And Stone Cold had that also. Well, Vince,
Yeah,
like these
make your
gentlemen,
opponent. They
doesn't
made
know
their
what he
opponents
really
always look
wants.
really good. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. So Vince doesn't know what he really wants. And at this point in time, Vince says he wants to make a big change up. He wants to turn heels to faces and faces to heels. First of all, are you surprised that Vince is in this conundrum? And I'm telling you, Vince might have bumped his head because things are going great. And you know me, I like people turning heels. So I think this is a great thing.
Here's my thing. I feel like a Vince rumor like this goes around at least once a year. There's going to be these grand changes to characters and the way WWE does things. I think
It happens
one of
sometimes.
these rumors goes around every single year, and sometimes some changes happen and sometimes they don't. One time for Sting and the Scorpion Death Drop, which is
One time.
isn't it
One time. We
it's
have
like
to.
it's a DDT, ain't it? Like a it's fly, whatever. Like,
Do we
who
like the
loves it? Who
diamond
loves it?
cutter?
Which is just the RKO. It's just the
Which is
RKO Stunner.
it's
Same thing.
another all the
Do we
same
like
move.
it? Yes. You know what? You know why we like it though? Think about the performers who do those, who make the RKO Stunner Diamond Cutter their finisher. You have to be a charismatic mug to do those.
You have to.
And we pop for each and every single one of them, knowing it's the same move pretty much.
It's true.
That's
That's
because
true.
they're good at doing it.
Let me
But
ask you
yeah,
this. Oh, I'm
the
sorry.
Vince stuff,
Continue. I'm sorry.
yeah, the Vince stuff. I'm just saying, like the Vince rumor like that goes around once a year, at least. And whether it's true or not, cool. The cool thing about this is if some sort of fundamental changes are happening in the creative process in WWE, of course that will be very much welcomed
Yeah,
because we've heard too many shoot interviews from wrestlers who felt creatively stifled while they were there.
that's
And there's
true.
only like a handful that were able to
That can
thrive
get out of it.
creatively. And then, all of these other messy type of things.
Absolutely.
Folks flipping roles and stuff. I think there's always some people that are better suited for different roles than they're playing.
Oh,
I think
absolutely.
I'm gonna give a great example. I think the Street Profits, what their version of their character that they're doing right now for the last
It's
month
much better.
now,
Yep.
it's great. They're not officially heel though. They're just
They need
got
to
more
be.
fire. They're
Just
giving you
go
a little
ahead
bit
and
more tween.
just go to that end of the pool.
Then that means we'll have one babyface tag team and that is like it. Or two. So that's the
You
only
need
thing.
those tweeners. You're right. You're right.
You
You're right. I
need
didn't think about
faces.
that.
I know you love heels, and I love them too. But my thing,
Yeah.
I'm always going to love a successful heel because that's who gets our face. Or I mean, a successful face because that's who gets our heels over. And if
Absolutely.
you got a whole bunch
Absolutely.
of heels, then you get too many heels, and then the crowd has no one to cheer for.
Yeah. Well, that's why you need,
You
that's why you
need
need
that.
Cody Rhodes.
That's why
That's
you
why
need
you need guys like that.
Cody Rhodes, a Bianca Belair, who is
You
just
need
like the
them.
babiest of baby faces right
Yeah,
now. Like he
absolutely.
just and successfully, because it's hard to
Yes.
be a true baby face in 2022 with so many smart
Yeah.
fans right now. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it's when they're successful in it, it's a good thing. And I think
Well, look.
I've been watching NXT lately. I think they're almost trying to build more faces there to kind of see like, let me see if we build faces this way, does it work? And I feel like they're kind of
Right.
testing it out on people there to try to test it out on the main roster eventually.
I can see that. Well, let me ask you this. If we had the choice, if we were making the bookings here on the Royal Rundown, who would you like to see make the switch? Which characters would you right now like to look at and say, you know what? I would love to see them change and be a face, or I would love to see them be a heel.
I got one that right now, the first thing that came to my head, which is weird, Gable, the Alpha Academy, Gable and Otis.
Yes.
Chad Gable and Otis. I
Yes.
actually think they would be fun faces because they both were really good faces before they were these really great heels.
Oh,
I think they'd be fun
I would
faces.
love for them. They'd be great. Oh, that's a great call.
I
I
think
love
they'd be
Alpha
great faces.
Academy because they're
I
also they kind of teeter the line.
Yeah, well, now they do because they got into popularity, right? They
Yeah.
done got 3 or 4 catchphrases now. So now
Yep.
they're turning it into that. Katie, Charlotte as a face, girl, we've tried that. That never worked.
Some people just aren't meant for it.
It
Yeah, I can
never
speak.
works. And like it's not even her fault. It just never works.
Yeah.
She's so
Who
easy to
else?
hate because of who
I
she
want to
is.
see Naomi turn heel.
Yeah. Yeah. She's only been
That's
healed
who
for
I
like
would like
3
to see.
minutes. She was only healed for a second with the Team Bad with Tamina and Sasha. That was the healest she ever was.
I
And
love
I
it.
feel like she was a great performer then. I think she's a far more better
Who
performer
else?
now. She'd be a fun heel to watch as well.
I'm trying to think who else I would like to see
Yeah.
it as a who else would like to see change. I do think we're going to end up getting in some way, shape, or form a more heel or a more face bloodline sooner than I think we think. I've been seeing a whole lot of them talking about it in the interwebs and whatnot. I hope that's not the case, but I keep hearing about it in the interwebs. So we'll see
Nah.
about that one. Who
Ugh,
else? Oh
I
man,
can't
obviously
see
I
it.
want Tez. I want Tez to go heel. But yeah,
You
that's
want
fun.
everyone to turn heel.
I mean, I would love to see Bianca go heel also. You're right. But then we do need faces.
Eventually. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't disagree. I think eventually they'll be
but
fun heels.
yeah,
But
but like
we need
Brock was a great
powerhouse
face.
baby faces. And who would have freaking thought?
Amazing.
Because that
I mean,
surprised me.
Kevin Owens going straight face would be fun. He can do it.
Yeah, I think he could. What is Carrie said a Miz face turn? You know what? They tried to turn Miz face a couple years ago when not a couple, it's probably far more than a couple, when he first started doing the figure four with Ric Flair, and I liked it, but the crowd wasn't feeling it. I think this would
Right.
giving it another try right about now, I think that's a good shout. Man, sister, listen, my sister over here with the call. Okay.
Let's
Ricochet
go.
as a heel?
Ricochet as a heel.
I'd really
I
have to see
love
it.
that idea.
I'd really have
I
to see it.
love it. I want my heel to be able to jump off the top rope 13 times
But
before
you
he
know what
kicks you in
though?
the head.
And
I
that's
love
why
that.
they won't turn him. Because
Damn it.
that old school thought process is that high flyers and stuff like that can't be healed. The fact that Eddie Guerrero was able to do it is because Eddie Guerrero is Eddie
He's the
Guerrero.
GOAT. Seth almost
That's
went babyface. I feel like
I think
recently
he's
they
I
could
think
have.
every
He's a
time
tweener.
he speaks words, I think every time he speaks words and comes out, he's pretty much a face. I think the only thing that keeps him from being a true face is that he's always fighting some sort of he's always fighting a face. So,
Right.
him going
Right.
into a feud with Cody Rhodes, then he's not gonna be the face and the official face. But the crowd singing his music. I mean, we're cheering him. We're
Yeah,
cheering everything he
I'm
does.
literally at home with him.
You know what I mean? Like
I'm in
yeah,
there.
Seth's
It's
face turn
great.
is imminent just because and he don't have to do anything with his character. He just has to start
You
facing.
just
He just
keep.
have to fight in heels.
That's
He'll turn
it. That
to
is the
face
only thing he
immediately.
has to do. But that's why when
Honestly,
he, I'm
I
sorry, go
wouldn't
ahead.
hate him. I wouldn't hate a feud with Roman like sooner than later.
Like a legitimate feud, like him
Like a
going right,
legit
like I would love that.
going for the belts. I would not hate that because then that's how you turn him face.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I love it. I love that. I mean,
Katie said turn Adam Pearce heel. You know what? That would be funny.
that would be great.
That would be
That would
funny.
be
But I
great.
mean, we already got Sonya Deville's heel self. All that stuff she did with Bianca last night.
Turn Sonya not racist in a face. Let's do that.
Let's not do this.
Let's do that. Let's make her a face and stop hating on black women. Let's do that.
Sheesh. I hope we're done with that. I hope the Sonya Deville Bianca Belair feud is over. I think we've done it.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. For her homecoming, that's how over she is. Y'all let her win in her hometown. Like she's so
And nobody
over.
gets to do that. Yeah.
No, and she was not only did she win in her hometown once, she won in her hometown like 3 times.
And she beat 3 women basically. So like
Yeah,
they gave her the Super Cena treatment. Like
it was great,
she
but it
is
was
the
yeah.
biggest overest baby face you could think of right now, next to Cody Rhodes. It's her and
Next
Cody,
to Cody
really.
Rhodes. Yeah, no, seriously. And Cody, they just gave him Raw. Like that's his show now. Like he's in there all the time. But again, it's great. It's great.
Yeah.
Really quick. Do you have any the WrestleMania Squared is coming up. Do you actually is there anything that interests you in that event?
I mean, Becky and Asuka, obviously they got to do that then,
That's gonna
right?
be
So that'll be dope.
maybe
That'll be dope. Obviously, unification of the tag team titles, the Usos and
where it
RK
was
Bro.
absolutely confirmed this past Monday that the Usos are winning that, right? Did
'Cause
we
they
just
lost
absolutely
it.
just confirm that? Like
Yeah.
they both of them got stomped out recently, and then you got
Yeah.
this. Like I was as soon as I saw that, every time I see them lose, I just be smiling. Like I guess they are gonna
Like
give them all
we
the
gonna be all
belts.
right.
Okay, this is great.
Yeah.
That was a
I
great
mean,
match.
and they talked about the fact that they're trying to solidify themselves as the greatest tag team. And like, to be honest, they've been a tag team literally their entire time they've been here. They're one of the only tag teams to last this long. You know, the only time they were wrestling singles matches consistently was when Jimmy was hurt during the pandemic, and then he came back,
That's it.
and now we back. Um,
Yep.
they never broke up. They've never broken up, right? So and
No.
I don't think they should. I think that them and the
No.
New Day should never
Ever.
officially beef and break up.
No.
Never.
No.
Um,
Can't do that.
let them go into the Hall of Fame. Let them induct each other in 10 more years in the Hall of Fame
Absolutely.
together.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like let's make that the flyest situation. But yeah,
Yo,
unifying
see,
the time.
I didn't want to say this because you always say I want people to turn heel. You know I want the New Day to turn heel. Oh, that would be
And you
Christmas
weren't
come
here,
early.
and you weren't here for Heel New Day, so you would love that
No.
because Heel New Day was fun.
Oh, I want to see Big E with an
they used to
attitude.
they used to
Oh,
make
come
babies
on.
cry and
Let's
stuff. They
do
were
that.
fun.
Yes.
They were
Make
fun.
babies cry. I love
Yeah.
that because I'm tired of seeing them get beat up by a 180-pound Butch. It's really irritating. Sucks.
You can't
I'm
say
sorry.
stuff like that while I'm drinking, G. Like, that's just terrible.
I'm sorry. It's irritating. I was like, this is not
Nah,
believable.
that's a good shout, Carrie. That's a good shout. New Day coming. Yeah, man. Yeah, that would be
I would
amazing.
love it. I would love it. I would love it. But look, there's a lot of great things coming up.
Oh
There's a
yeah,
lot
I
of
want
people that-
Ponytail Bailey back too. Yeah, give me face
do
Bailey
you think
back.
we're gonna get them back in at SmackDown? Obviously, you know, yeah, we had Raw got some people back this week. Do you think
Yeah.
Bailey comes back?
You know what? That's a decent shout. I actually would love it if they saved her return for WrestleMania Backlash. Save it for that.
Okay, save it
Give us
for WrestleMania Squared. I like that.
let's if you're gonna call it WrestleMania Backlash, give me a WrestleMania Backlash moment. The
Facts.
return of Bailey would be a
I like
big
it.
moment.
With
would be newsworthy.
ponytails. That's what people would like that.
Give me Ponytail Bailey back. Everybody
Nah,
wants.
it'd
Yeah,
be
we are
good.
not. It's like 4 of us in here. Like, yes, Ponytail Bailey. We would like that.
All right, we like it. We like it. We like it. All right. Well, look. Long story short, Randy Orton is an absolute legend. Absolute legend. His finisher might be the greatest finisher of all time. The New Day absolutely should turn heel. And this is the best pro wrestling and sports entertainment show, period. Love you guys. Ms. Dredays, anything else you want to go ahead and tell the people?
Listen, you know where we are every single Tuesday, right? So you need to be here and be ready because we have so much in store. Serge, you got anything to say?
I mean, I got some announcements and whatnot, but I think you guys are just waiting until, you know, probably tomorrow, next day or something. We do have some big announcements.
You see the handles.
I have some
peeping
shows. Yeah, we got some new shows coming out that are going to be really, really fun. What else? We have a big guest coming on the show next week. Next week we do have a big guest that I'm really excited about. So tell you for actually I can say it now. We got the man come. Actually, I'm not gonna say it just in case he doesn't show up, and I don't want to promise him. I'm gonna under promise and over deliver. So
yes,
there you go. You know what I'm saying? I'm
part.
teaching y'all lessons out here on the Royal Rundown.
That's
you know what
marketing.
I'm saying?
That's good.
And that's what we're gonna do. And because of that we out here always dropping gems for you guys, we're gonna leave you with this.
Yesterday's price is not today's price. Yesterday's price is not today's price. He's certified.